Hey everyone, this is Josh again with Ceres Greenhouse Solutions. It is July 16th. I'm in northern Colorado at one of our newer hemp starting greenhouses. This is a cool greenhouse with some of our new design worked into it. It is a 30-foot by 41-foot greenhouse with a 12-foot headhouse. The headhouse is what we consider the inline farmer. It's just additional truss bays with an insulated partition wall between this headhouse portion and the greenhouse portion. The other nice thing about this greenhouse is that it has 14-foot eaves. So at the bottom of the truss cord, you're at 14 feet. There is a lot of vertical growing space in this greenhouse. We're in Fort Collins, so decent snow loads, still high wind loads on the Front Range of Colorado. So this greenhouse is engineered to withstand Colorado winters, but also provide very comfortable growing environment throughout the year. It's in the high 80s right now. Inside the greenhouse, it is very comfortable. The wet wall's running with the exhaust fans. It's probably in the mid 70s inside. These guys have a good size outdoor operation going on with hemp for CBD. And they begin using the greenhouse in mid-late winter to start seedlings, which they then transplant out into the fields when the time is right. They're also playing around with some genetics right now inside, trying to find the right genetics for their CBD grow operation. This building has 3-inch insulated wall panels, so it's an R24. And in the headhouse right now, which has no cooling or heating, it's actually quite comfortable just because it's such an insulated structure. I'm going to take you inside, try and take some shots of the headhouse to show you that in this layout, this extended bit on the east side of the greenhouse is considered their headhouse. But in our multi-greenhouse structures, this could just be the 12-foot corridor that will extend both north or south to then connect to the next greenhouse. We can also adjust the size of this. This one's 12 feet wide east to west. We can narrow it to 8 feet wide east to west as well. So let's go inside and have a look. Apologies for the tight frame here. It's a small headhouse and they have a bunch of racks where they use for working. But what I wanted to show you is the north wall of the headhouse. These are the inside of our insulated metal panels, same as the greenhouse, white, highly reflective. What you have here is a removable wall girt and then a rough opening that is designed for this wall to be cut out and a hallway to be extended to the north. We have the exact same layout on the south wall so that a hallway can be extended to the south. This allows us to build a greenhouse just like this that will probably never see expansion and still has its fully insulated hallway space / headhouse. But also for our growers who are planning phased growth, they can start with a smaller unit, and when the time comes, 6 tech screws on either side, the girt is out, sawzall, the wall is gone, we supply a trim kit, and then we just send the frame to the north. You can also build all of the new structure while this wall is still in place, which means you're not affecting anything in your existing greenhouse. And then once you're ready to incorporate the two, cut the wall out, and bam, you're walking through the hallway. Apologies that it's so loud in here, but I figured I'd give it a shot. Very spacious greenhouse. Again, 14-foot eaves. But most importantly, what I wanted to show you is the wet wall that we use to cool this greenhouse. And 2 36-inch exhaust fans are on right now, as well as 2 24-inch exhaust fans. It is very comfortable in this greenhouse compared to outside. The coolest thing is what you see behind me, which is a Ceres designed transition manifold. This greenhouse runs our ground to air heat transfer system, otherwise known as our GAT system, which traditionally takes inside air from here down underground and then it exhausts in the corners, which cools and somewhat dries the air. Sometimes the greenhouse is really hot, and we learned that it makes some sense to bring in some outside air in certain applications to help cool the greenhouse further. What the transition manifold allows us to do is, with a valve, take inside air or outside air, depending on what environment we want to create or which we think will suit the conditions needed better. Using a smart controller, we can see what's happening outside, we can see what's happening inside, and the controller will make the decisions based on growers' settings, whether it should be taking inside air or outside air. For a hemp greenhouse, we could actually put filters on the intake of the transition manifold to avoid pollen or anything coming in the greenhouse, if that's a concern of yours. For most of our veggie growers, that is an amazing way to keep the greenhouse cool throughout the summer, and the GAT can also somewhat heat the greenhouses in the winter. So we've discussed this before in the videos, but I figured we're here, might as well show it to you again. Behind me is our rack and pinion system, along with our insulated vent cover for the evaporative cooling or wet wall. Again, what we do is we build the entire north wall with the insulated metal panels. Then we cut out the opening for the vent. We reuse those panels that we've removed and build them into an insulated vent. Right now it's open. The kind of vent that it is doesn't actually matter. We're taking in warm, dry air, cooling it through the wet wall, and it goes into the greenhouse significantly cooler with slightly higher humidity. But in the winter, when we do not need cooling, when this wall closes, we don't have this big gap where we get frozen condensation or anything like that. We have a fully insulated north wall, and we're not losing heat out of our wet wall vent. When we build our inline head houses like this is, we put the wet wall on the north wall. Normally it would live on the west wall and we'd exhaust on the east. But with the inline head house, in this instance, the inline farmer layout, the wet wall goes on the north side. One more thing to point out with the Ceres insulated wet wall vent is that Ceres provides gasket for the perimeter of the vent cutout. It's a squishy EPDM gasket. What it allows is that when the insulated vent closes, it squeezes tight enough that it squishes the gasket. Double layer, which gives us a little bit of insulation even, so we have double protection, so that when this thing closes in the winter, we can keep winter weather out and greenhouse conditions in. Nice little feature to truly separate indoor from outdoor environments.